No, it's not the blue screen of death on your computer that you're looking at. That is the door of this 1977 Great Divide that was once white, as is, doors on most RVs. And somebody was so kind as to go along and just paint it all blue. Well, except for the trim here with the red. And we got some overspray on the chrome, so I'm going to first clean this off, and then we're going to tape around all of this on the window, and we're going to tape the edges here so I don't get overspray on those like they did here, and then we're going to repaint this back to its original white, so it won't stand out so bad on the side of this camper. Now, the paint job on this thing, somebody did it with a brush, and I'm not sure, but they might have used house paint. If I had the time and the money, I would strip it completely down and redo it, but these are good for hunting and stuff, because, nobody's going to care about scratching it up when they go through the trees. But do yourself a favor, do people like me a favor, that like to save these campers. If you want to paint one, please don't ever do it with house paint. House paint is good for your house, not particularly good for your camper. I know that you can do it. I know it will stick to it, but it just doesn't look right. And you paint these like you do a car. When you use a high quality paint, it's sprayed on. Probably an epoxy paint would be the best, because that is the toughest paint you can put on these things. At least that's what it used to be when I used to do auto body. But let's get going on this. Okay, I want to clean this up. Get the 4.0 steel wool out. Super fine, whatever you want to call it. And clean this blue off of the catch here. This is the tie back. This thing over here flips around and catches in there. Put it in there to hold the door open on it, but somebody apparently had it sticking straight out, and they closed the door and knocked a hole in it. I think you saw that a while ago, probably. Take that. And that's the easy way to tape over something, right? I don't have my old air sander that I used in auto body anymore. I think my dad might have it. But this will work just as good, or almost. But you want to sand it down till you've broken any gloss or shine that's on it, so that the new paint can stick to it. You don't have to go all the way down to the raw fiberglass or anything. Just knock the gloss off. I was going to tape it first, wasn't I? You got to keep me on track here. I keep forgetting things anymore. How am I going to get up there? I'll get out a ladder in a minute. Alright, so I got tape over the handle and on the aluminum trim around the edge. And I just laid the border in on the glass. I'll cover the rest of that later on. Oops, sorry, I don't mean to move you so fast. And then out to the sides later. I'm doing this right now just to protect this when I'm sanding, so that I don't end up sanding the aluminum or the chrome or something like that accidentally. This will protect it, and then I can fix any of this tape later before I paint. I'm wearing a particle mask, so if my voice sounds funny, that's why. I don't want to breathe all this back in, and being this tight, oh, I'd get a lot of it, wouldn't I? Let's go. Okay. Wow. I'll show you what I've done. As you can see, there's not much blue on it, just enough to get in the way, but it's taken right back down to the original white fiberglass. See, these are cast or molded, what do you want to call it, in color. Most of your RVs anymore are done that way. They're done fiberglass and they're cast in color. And this one, ooh, blue fingers. I'll get where I can get with the sander, and then I have to do the rest up by hand. I'm just using 150 grit sandpaper on it because that's what I have. And it's rough, so that when I put the primer on, it'll cover it real well. So I'm going to use a gray primer and then go to the white. That way I use the gray to block the blue, and then the white will look strong on top of the gray. But all this up here, I'm going to have to go over that by hand. But this down here has come off pretty well. Continuing. Okay, so I've sanded it. I blew it all off with a blowgun. Now I'm going over it with a tack cloth. Take off any loose particles that the blowgun might have missed. Just gonna open this thing out. That's far enough. Leave it kind of a loose wad. Alrighty. Pretty nasty. Now then, get me a couple of paper towels here. Shop rags, whatever you want to call them. Some wax and grease remover. I got that at, I don't know, the parts store somewhere, auto parts. Now we go over the whole thing again. All the paint is now prepped. I got to finish taping and then we'll spray. All right, so I got 2 coats of primer on it, and I'm gonna let it set for probably an hour and a half. It's nice and warm out today, and they've got a nice breeze, so it's moving along. And then I'll come back and do the paint, the white, over the top of the gray, and hopefully have a real pretty door when we get done. And no, that's not a white test pattern you're looking at. That is the painted door. And I got the tie back on it now. And I had to try to beat the wind was gonna start getting up, so I had to come out here and get it done real quick. Otherwise I would have been recording the spray and everything else. That's just, a couple of cans of, what is it, Krylon or whatever it is they sell at Walmart. It took a little over 1 can to do the white. It came out pretty decent. Looks a lot better than the blue and red. I still got to get the stuff out of the glass now, the overspray from the blue and red. But it's not going to be hard to do that. The rest of the door looks more like a new door now.